Hey Raz, hey Terrell, how's it going? Here. Hey Raz, do you see that Abe 3D witch character you like? They just sent an email today. It's another full size of her. I think it's called Dark Witch. Yeah, I know it's a family drama. I know how that happens. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Dark Magician Girl, that's it, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, so you saw it. Yeah, I got the email today and I was like, I thought of you right away because I know you said you liked that character, so. The other thing why I got you in chat, when you printed up these figures for me, and you printed them hollow, how thick was it that you printed? I wanna write that down because the way you printed them was like perfect. Like, I forgot how thick you did it. Alright, I'm gonna write this down. And you use Frozen 4K, right? Or do you use something else? Okay. So I think going forward with any of my own personal stuff, I want to keep this information. If anyone else prints stuff for me down the line, if they can't do that thickness or the frozen, I'll just have you do it. I mean, I there's a bunch of stuff I want done. I just, alright, because I mean, the stuff you printed was like perfect. You know, I didn't have any problems with warpage. It was strong resin. So I kind of like that type of stuff. I mean, I got the chair printed, and he printed this up really good, but he did a fairly thin. And I was afraid to fill this with the expanding foam from the Smooth On, so I used the foam you see in the can from the picture just to fill this in. But there's a couple of stuff I want done this year, so. And then if I have you print more stuff down the line, I just want to make sure it's 4K. I mean, the frozen stuff. Because that frozen resin, I just love it. I absolutely love it. If you, oh no, it's ES Monster that's doing it, not Abe, forget it then, alright. I was gonna say, if you sub to, if ES Monster was the part of the one you sub to, the, I want their Blood Rain, figure. I was gonna suggest if you got that file printed for me and stuff, but no big deal. Yeah, I love the frozen stuff because I could tell frozen right away from the smell, and then also how strong it is compared to some of this other resin stuff. Yeah, I ran into a I ran into a problem with my Bayonetta. It's kind of funny. This is how much of an idiot I am sometimes with this stuff. So I wanted to we'll grab these pieces here. So the guy that printed my Bayonetta kit, which he printed this for me like when it first came out, which was probably what, like a year or so ago. I never had a chance to work on her because I just had so much shit going on. So I decided I wanted to work on her a little bit more here and there. And when he printed this for me, the back of her arm piece, it goes like... See, I thought this piece was the piece that goes underneath her arm. And I always kept saying to myself, this is so damn big, it's going to break. Because when he printed it, he had to cut it for the printer. So I said, you know, you need to print this for me hollow because it's going to fall. It's never going to stay up, right? I didn't realize that this file had two arms. One arm that the piece goes like this underneath the back of her arm. And then there's one that goes like smaller like this. So I had him reprint these for me. And I'm sitting there like, it's wrong. It's wrong. And I never knew that this had two arms in there. So I'm an idiot. So he has to reprint the arms for me, but the ones that have the piece underneath of it. I'm such an idiot. I never got a chance to finish this figure when he printed it for me, and now I'm learning all this stuff now. I can't believe I made that mistake and I had him print it again. I'm such an idiot. But he did a... I'll show you the pieces he printed. He has the big printer, so he printed the bigger pieces, and I'm sitting here thinking it goes underneath her arm like this, right? And I'm saying this is so damn big, something's wrong. But when you put her together, it clicks underneath the arm like this. But I'm sitting here, that's not what I want. That's not the correct way. And I'm an idiot because there's a separate arm in the file. And even he didn't realize there was a separate arm in the file. So now, I got these two big pieces here, and I got these two here as well. So I guess I got filler resin for a while. I mean, it's good to know that he could print some large pieces like this now. I contacted ES Monster. I'm like, yeah, did you guys sculpt her and then change the file? He's like, no, there's two different arms in there. I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I never saw the picture of the arms coming down. I always saw the pictures of the underneath her arms. So yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a mess up this week. I was like, son of a bitch. So he's gonna print the arms again for me. But hard lesson learned. Yeah, at first I was like, oh, maybe I'll just customize it and I'll put it under here. But then I was like, wait a second, the pieces are wrong. They're supposed to be underneath. So yeah, it's a lesson learned to check the file like 5 times over, you know. So Bayonetta's got to be on the shelf again till I get the arms in. Oh well. But, alright, so we got the chair printed out for Peach. He did a good job on it. He also was able to take the skull file and he merged it onto here. So that looks pretty cool. So he printed it as big as he could. So I think it's in a good scale with her. But I think maybe we should kind of... I don't really think we need to make it higher, right? I think it's kind of like... I think it's kind of good. I mean, if we made it higher... Nah, I don't think it needs to be higher, right? I think that's a good size for her. Let me see if I can get the camera back a little bit further. Yeah, I think that's good. Doesn't need to be, like if I raised it... Yeah, I don't think it needs to be raised. I think it's at a good position. Because if she was to sit... Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, that works. The only thing is I gotta find a way to see how I'm gonna display it with, like, do I get a plank of wood? Because I don't have resin to make a resin base. And I don't feel like dropping $150 on a gallon kit of resin and not use it this summer. So I'm thinking maybe a plank of wood. Because even the base for Cammy is probably too small too. So this is the base for Cammy. So even if we put her on this base with a chair, then I don't know if we would have room for the other item. Where is it? Where is he? Here he is. Oh, there might be room. I mean, so if she was to go here, yeah, I think I gotta get a piece of wood. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a piece of wood for it. What about a rounder piece that big? Nope, needs to be a little bit bigger than that. Yeah, gonna have to, because I'm waiting for a package to come in the mail today. If it comes, I got an AC unit for the garage, a portable one. I sold some items I didn't want to sell, but I'm not going through another summer in the garage without AC. So if I have to go to Home Depot tomorrow and get up some wood, maybe I'll get like a, maybe they got the round pieces of wood, a little bit smaller one that's bigger than this. Yeah, I think a round, just a piece of wood would be fine. I don't think we need to blow it on resin. I think that'll be fine. And then if we have enough room, we could put that in the front of it. Like that. Or it could be there in the piece and she could be like this, you know. Instead of having it all perfectly straight in the center. Kind of like off to the side type thing. Alright, so I gotta get a piece of wood. That's what I gotta get for tomorrow. Make my list. Something at least up to about 12 inches. Also need Bondo. Use the last of it today. I guess if I get a piece of wood, maybe we can do I could figure something out with the wood, depending on what I get. Because it could be like a stained floor too. You know, put the popsicle sticks down again and stain it. Or maybe try something else. Alright, we'll figure that out. But I think for now, I want to attach the chair. So the reason why I picked this chair compared to the other one that we first, in the first video series, is because the other one would have been way too big for the printer if we blew it up. And this one was a little bit more narrow, so cutting it worked for the scale. The other one kind of would have went too far out, and it wouldn't have worked. We would have had to like cut it in the center, and I didn't really want to do that. So I think this one looks fine for her. I think it's got sort of that little bit of elegance, I guess, for her. So it works. Alright, so I gotta get some rods or something. Guess I can use these. This is a steel. Well, this is a bitch to cut. But I gotta cut some in this garage. Be right back. Whew. Can't cut steel with those wire cutters. I was afraid to use the expanding foam on this and it just blows up, so I didn't want to even try. Hey Scott, how's it going? Got some nasty hot weather over there still, Scott? Because we had like 2 days of like 95-degree weather. It was the weirdest ever, and then all of a sudden it's back to like 60. It's like the end of the world type stuff going on. Yeah, we had like 90, 95-degree weather, hot days. It was like out of nowhere, it just came in like crazy. And then I was like, it was so damn hot in the garage. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So just happy a couple things sold. Ordered an AC unit. Hopefully it comes today. It's supposed to be shipping today. And then maybe I'll make a video on how I'm going to set it up in the garage. I'm not cutting a hole through the wall. I'm going to put a 2x4 at the bottom of the garage door and use the piece comes with it to blow the heat out that way. So yeah, it's like rainy here too. It's like 60. I got like my thermal and jeans on again. Yeah, you get the hotter days like that. We're getting close though. We're getting close to those days coming soon. My problem is I got to get the AC units, the split unit serviced, because I think I'm a little bit low on coolant. So that's another problem I got going on. It's always something. Never ends. Wow, 125, that's crazy. I still would take that over freezing cold. Like I can handle the heat way better than I can handle the cold. I hated the cold this winter. Plus, I didn't try to run my heat too like crazy because the bills would have been nuts. So, wearing a lot of sweatpants and sweaters. Hey JC, how's it going? Alright, this is gonna get a little messy. I'm hanging in there. Very frustrating week. But it has to do with the parents and Medicaid stuff. But coming to a close, so I'm hopefully things are getting better. But I got the chair situated. So I put Aves on those rods. So this way, instead of putting Aves there and kind of squeezing and sort of not locking in place, this will help make sure it hits that Aves. But we're going to put a lot of glue around this. Let this dry a little bit there. I guess I should make sure these rods don't get stopped. This should be good. let this set up a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to seam it up with Aves. You know, put Aves around here, let that cure, and then what I'll probably do is I'll probably Dremel here tomorrow and Dremel here, add a rod in there with Aves to kind of lock it in again, just to kind of do a little bit more, and then I might kind of notch here and here again and maybe put a little rod there just to give this a little bit more locking in place, just to be on the safe side. Because if you just leave it like it is and somebody grabs it down the line from here, it could maybe like break. So I just want to do a like double security on it. Who's this now? Hold on, be right back. Hey, Devastator. What's going on? Okay. Hey Butterfly, how's it going? Guess I could pop out your item since you're here. Although I gotta cover up the naughty bits. We don't want YouTube to get angry. But I'll give you an idea of kind of what we did. So I rebuilt the feet like this, but Nick is going to print up the boots that you like better. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably cut like here, and then I'll cut here, even though I put this rod goes up to about, like, I would say about here, maybe more. So I'll cut off this foot, and then I'll reposition the new foot with the boots on here. But when I put the boot on this foot here, it won't be flat. It'll kind of be a little bit like with the heel upwards a bit, so it won't be flat, but that's the best way to do it. So I forgot who gave this to me. I can't remember who gave this to me. Somebody gave this to me a while back. I completely forgot. So Nick reminded me. So to make the measurements better for the helmet, what we did is we measured this here like that. So I think we got around like 32. So he's printing the helmet just about that size. So it should be able to go underneath the arm pretty well. Because don't forget, she's got ears, but it should fit in a way that it works underneath. Even if I have to sort of tweak the arm a little bit, it should fit pretty well. And he said he's going to, the helmet comes in different pieces, I think he said, so he's going to print the visor in clear. And then I was also able to measure the feet for better stuff. So I think Raz too, if you're in chat, Raz, still, I could start using this more now for measurements. I completely forgot I had this. Completely forgot. I never even thought to even think of, you know, using a tool like this for stuff. So But once we get the feet situated on, once we get the feet situated, it'll be a little bit easier to go upwards. Because trying to do all this now without the feet's going to be a pain. But I rebuilt the knees. I rebuilt the knees and I, sanded down the calf muscles and stuff. So, I just kind of got all that cleaned up and everything for now. Yeah, I guess what I wanted to ask you is the base okay, or did you want a bigger base? Because this is something I had, and I thought it would just work fine for the character. Yeah, Raz, I'll start using this from now on for stuff. I never even thought that, like, I don't know who gave this to me, but never even thought about using this to kind of do measurements in millimeters and stuff. But this should make life a lot easier now. Nick was the one who said if I had a tool like this, and I was like, holy crap, I do. Yeah, I thought this base would be, it kind of lined up pretty good because you figure her hip goes here and then with the arm we have enough room going. Yeah, but once we get that situated in the helmet, then I could sort of start working on the outfit and arms and everything. I guess the chest is it going to stay pointy like this, or you want it more like flatter uniformed? Even though I'm not even there yet, but I wasn't sure how much you wanted of the original figure. I gotta get those pictures you sent to saved on my computer. All her hands and everything are in the garage. Okay. The only reason why I asked because they point out so much, I didn't want to break them off, and you're like, I want them, so if I have, I can kind of sand them off and everything. Okay, yeah. But I mean, like I said, I worked out the feet and the pose better than what was there because her, when I attached her leg, and I think it was this leg that was separated, her feet didn't line up at all. Like, however she was stanced, I guess didn't work. So that's kind of why I rebuilt the ankles to sort of fit a little bit better. But once I get those boots, I'll reposition them to make it work a little bit better for her, so. Let me see. I know there's a couple other parts in here I didn't. I mean, this is all I had in the bag, right? This is all that was in the box. I'm not missing anything, am I? Because I went through the whole box, I didn't see anything else. Hey, Raccoon. It's just the head, the two arms, the hands, and this piece. Is there something missing? Okay, all right. Yeah, the hands too. I don't know if I was gonna switch them out if I had something in scale. I haven't gotten that far yet. I do have a lot of extra hands and stuff. So I'm not depending on how to hold everything, we'll see. I want to focus mainly on the figure first, and then as I get higher on the figure, I'll start planning on like what I'm going to do with the arms, if they need to be a little bit tweaked. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, so I'm just waiting for him to print them out. It was kind of funny, the boot file, even though the boot went up that high, the file was split here, so there was like a piece here and a piece here, so we're just printing out the bottom, and then I'll sculpt the boot myself and then incorporate the rest of the outfit. But slowly getting there, we got a lot done so far. Yeah, the only problem was the feet. They just didn't line up, and they were so futuristic boot stuff. They just didn't line up. Yeah, no problem. We're getting there. Just a little bit of a delay. But once we get those parts in, I'll get back on there. So that's the one thing I got to get used to with 3D printing is sometimes when you don't have it and you got to plan when you get the item, it's a little bit of a delay. Yeah, Nick. Yep. there's Nick. He's the one that's going to be printing the helmet and everything. So if it wasn't for Nick asking me about that tool, I probably could have made a lot of my 3D printing with other people in the past a lot easier. Didn't even realize I had it. Nick, besides the helmet and boots, was there anything else coming to me from anyone else? From you? I can't remember. I'm losing track of some of these things. The glasses, okay. Yeah, I think also too, while you're in chat, Nick, I think going forward, if there's any time, if you can, keep it in mind, Raz, like if somebody tells you to print something for me, Raz prints everything in 2.5 millimeter hollow, and he uses the 4K, the frozen 4K resin. The reason why I like the frozen 4K is because it doesn't warp with like 2-part resin going inside of it. It's just for me down the line. Like anyone else you print for, you do whatever you want for them. But it's kind of like, I kind of like the frozen the best. Even if it's more or whatever, it's fine. I just love working with that resin more than anything. If you can. Yeah, because like when I fill everything with hollow, like with these girls, I bent this rod up her leg all the way up to here. So when I filled it in with 2-part resin, she didn't blow up, she didn't warp, she didn't sag, she didn't like scrunch. So with the 2.8 millimeter and 4K resin is like perfect to make your thing like solid as a rock, like a sideshow item. So it's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, down the line, it's not like anything that's like major. It's just that if anyone, because like if Raz prints out more of my stream stuff, he does like that 4K and it works out perfect with customizing. And then like if somebody ever wants me to do an item and they find you to print it, I would just want you to tell them that I kind of only work with the frozen 4K, and then you got to price it out that way. Especially if I have to customize the item. Hey Joe. I tend to get picky on these things when once I find something I like, I gotta just stick with it. I know I'm a pain in the ass, but because I know some people like the softer resins, I guess, or what is it called, the ABS or something. I like the harder, sturdier stuff, like the frozen, because I guess what it is I go overboard with building and painting with adding rods and magnets, that I like to have that sturdiness. Oh, I'll show you the... Hold on a second. Hold on. I'll show you what I did with Blob and Toad. So, we got this big ass bastard over here. Alright, hold on. Get this picture out of the way. Shrink it down a little bit. Hold on. There we go. Alright. So this was a little bit of a bitch. We don't need the head. But I managed to figure it out. Alright. So Blob is pretty much almost ready for paint. So I went ahead and I added my magnet system. So he's get it in the right way, not the wrong way. So his shoulder though was a bitch. So for Toad, I got him on the base. Now the problem with Toad though is I didn't like the way they engineered this. So his back foot just kind of hangs off the side here, and I think over time he would like to fall down with just this ankle. So I added a magnet here, and I added a magnet here. So this way, when you put him into the base, the magnet will actually hold him instead of his like leg. It's just a poor design. I don't like the way they did this. But the reason why they did this was because of his shoulder. So this part is magnetized now with this piece. And then this arm goes here like so. The only problem though is I couldn't seam this perfect because of the way they are. The downside is if when you put him on the shoulder, I couldn't put a magnet back there because it would screw up and scrape him, you know? So back here on this foot is kind of floating off of him. And sadly, I couldn't do it in a way where everything would line up. I don't really like this design, actually. I don't like the way they did this because he's supposed to be touching, but the problem is if he touches it, it could scrape the paint, and then when you pull it off and swap it, it doesn't work. So I wish they came up with a better design, you know. But I talked to the guy I'm doing this for, and he's not going to probably... He probably doesn't have enough room anyway for Toad to be on the shoulder. So it's just an option there if he wants to. But the other problem too is it's like you have this little ankle supporting him, and it's not a good design. I wish they probably would have put this foot on this shoulder and this foot on that shoulder and make those shoulders swappable, you know. But then you have more parts. So it's like... I think with this kit, it's either you have him on the shoulder and you design him that way, or you don't. But I think going forward, he's just going to be on the base. And the other problem, he doesn't really even connect into the base in front of him, so... But, yeah, this is a... It's not a good... It's a good idea, but it's not engineered perfect. So that's the downside of this kit. But other than that, he's fine this way. So... You could, but the problem is, whatever you do on the back of him, there's probably always going to be paint scraping. That's the problem, you know. Because also I was doing a test on this here. I couldn't get a rod up his ankle, So if you have him on here and he's not positioned, even though he's positioned, he'll probably start bending down over time because of that one little ankle support. Because you can see the way the ankle is, it's not really enough meat to support the body. So I think, like I said, I think he's just going to have him on the base anyway. But the option's there if he ever wants to put him on the shoulder. I mean, I personally feel if you're going to have him on the shoulder, design him that way. Because then I would have put like a magnet back there and he would have clicked in and be done. And this piece would have not been popping out. Because I would have made it so basically his body's like this. You know? I wouldn't have had all this removable. It would have been just the arms. But that's just the downside of the way they engineered it. But he's happy with it so far, so we're good. And then for the base, I just put, you know, magnets underneath his feet. So he goes in perfectly fine. Yeah, so that's just an engineering issue. Yeah, no problem, Nick. Talk to you later. It's always the downside with some of these STL files. See, I didn't know it was a removable shoulder. I just thought that he went on the shoulder and that was it until I got it in the mail. If I had known from the beginning, I would have suggested just pick one or the other. Alright, well with that being said, Raccoon, are you in chat? Did you see the boys? Were you happy with the ending? I didn't watch it, but I got the spoilers online. Seems like that's what everybody's been talking about this week, is the boys ending. Hey, Forge, how's it going? How you doing in Sweden? Is it nighttime over there? Or probably morning by now, I would think, maybe. $10 p.m., so they would be 5 hours ahead of us? Okay, so about 5-6 hours ahead, something like that? Okay. Was it Was it UK or was part of Sweden? They wanted to stop you guys from 3D printing. I thought I saw a video that I know they're trying to do that overseas to stop 3D printers. I think UK wanted to, I think Ireland, wanted to stop it too. I mean, UK wants to stop everything. But I know a couple of the countries wanted to stop 3D printing. No, not there. Yeah, I know California is. California's just weird. California's got issues, period. But I know I saw an article that I know over in the UK they were trying to stop it all over there. I don't know, we better get our 3D prints all done before they come knocking on their doors. Yeah, it's almost like it's the internet. You know, like when the internet came out, it came out so fast they couldn't stop it and control it. That's why they've been trying to control it for years. But you figure they're trying to stop the 3D printing now. Yeah, the gun stuff I know, that I understand, but I know they're just trying to stop it, period, from anybody being able to print anything. I don't know, Raz, if there's a bill passed anytime soon, you better be ready to start printing up a bunch of crap for me. Before they come knocking on your door. And I think my delivery is here. I hear a truck outside. Sure you guys can hear the beeping too. Yep, that is my delivery. Alright, I will be right back. Let me go take care of this. Alright, that is here. That's kind of crazy. Wait, you got problems with Sweden? Sweden and the gangs, really? I thought like Sweden was like well, I guess what do you consider gangs in Sweden? compared to the US. Oh. That's right. I'm down to be working at a 3D printing cartel. Except I'll be making statues though, not weapons. Really? Okay. I thought maybe I'm thinking of another country then. I thought Sweden was kind of getting rid of all that stuff. We're all screwed everywhere, I guess. I guess that's the way it is. We're all screwed. Best just to sit in your house and work on statues. So it's Agenda 2030 now? I thought, wasn't it used to be Agenda 2016? Really, man? That's crazy that Sweden happened like that. It's a shame. I guess that's everywhere. Well, is Sweden big? It's, well, I don't know. The powers that be want everybody in chaos. That's what it is anyway. They want us all in chaos. It's a shame. They're letting everything go to hell in a handbasket. Yeah, I'm using the Aves to do the seams. It's not really filler. It's kind of more of rebuilding the gap that's here. Because we had to cut this file for printing. So it didn't, it lined up and not perfect. So it's better to sort of fill this with Aves and then sand it down and kind of recreate it. You know, because it lined up over here, but it didn't really line up here. Yeah, we're all screwed. That's why I say we're going to have to get all our prints done early. I got a lot of cleaning on this to do, though. I filled this in with foam though. You can sort of see it's spray foam by the picture here, you know. So I got this in the mail on Wednesday. So yesterday I filled it with foam and then I sort of sanded it down this morning and primed it a bit. So I figured I could get this all together and kind of really sand it down a little bit better. The problem with this file though is it wasn't an expensive file, and it really didn't come pre-supported. Plus we had to cut it, so he had to kind of do different supports. So it wasn't really meant for this large of a file. I kind of think that's what happened. This is just a red oxide primer. From Duplicolor. I don't know. Sweden probably don't get this kind of paint. Oops. So it's just a red oxide primer. And I have gray and red. So whenever I do kits, I usually use just the red oxide. But if you're talking about the Aves, this is just Aves Epoxy Sculpt. It's the pink color I make from the Fix It and regular Aves red together. Can you get Aves in Sweden? I don't even know if you can. You know what it is? I know a lot of the guys in Germany, UK, and Canada, but I don't really know what guys can get in Sweden. Alright, so you can get it. Alright. See, it's weird because the guys in Germany can't get some of these things. It seems like certain countries have it on lockdown because of the chemicals. Can you get Duplicolor paints in Sweden? I mean, if you could get that Duplicolor filler primer I just showed you, it's a really good primer for kit building. It's all I use. It's basically a car paint. Reason why I always suggest it is because it goes on really smooth and it dries fairly fast. It's really great for working on stuff if you want to move a little faster and not have to have something dry for a long time. Alright, I'm sure you find what works for you. I just love the duplicolor stuff here in America. Only because the Krylon I think is absolute trash. I'm not really a fan of Rust-Oleum because it never really cures correctly. And the hobby primers are good, but they're just too expensive for the amount you get. So I love my duplicolor stuff. Yeah, that's why I like the duplicolor stuff, because it's basically car paint, but it works wonders for statues, especially if you want to start working with enamels and lacquers. It doesn't like eat away on if you were to use those. Mr. Surfacer? I never heard of that. That special brand. Oh, Mr. Colors Prime. Yeah, I never used Mr. Colors. I never even seen those in a store to even test them. One day, I'll try them. I'm doing this is the chair for Peach. So this is the Bowser throne chair, I guess you can call it. So I just got this printed up. So this is a Peach, Dominatrix Peach. Where the hell are some of her pictures? Is this it? You know, sort of, you know, Peach. So I gotta find a better base. So I gotta get like a wooden base. Yeah, this is Raz printed these out, so it's a frozen 4K. But I filled them with resin. They were hollow, and then I re-sculpted all this. All this pink stuff is Aves. But yeah, he printed it out in frozen 4K. And it's solid as a rock now with the resin inside of it. And there's a rod, square rod. I bent up her leg to here, so this way she'll never like bend or warp. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the, what is it, FDM, because that's what, like, more plastic. I like the resin stuff better for customizing. So that's Peach, and then there's a then we got Misty, the whatchamacallit, Misty from Savage Land. Yeah, I like the resin better because, you know, you can chop it all up and you can do all this extra stuff to it. It's easier to work with. The FDM is kind of like, I guess it's more, I guess it melts more, I guess, when you sand it. It doesn't really sand as well. But, yeah, Misty's pretty much ready to go. It's just, I want to get the chair situated, get that cleaned up, and then I just got to prep them all up and we can start painting. So, we're getting there slowly. Yeah, Misty is looking pretty good. Got a nice little booty on her. Just got to prime it up again and clean up a little bit more. I was working on Cammy this week a little bit, but I ran out of time. I had some errands to run, so I didn't get her completely cleaned up. But I'll pop her out a little bit and add a little eaves here and there on her in a second or two. Yeah, I did that head on my crystal I'm working on too. I changed up her outfit. I'll show you that, guys, in a bit as well. I went for a walk one day and I was like, you know what? I gotta change that crystal outfit. I didn't like the way it was coming out, so. Kind of a habit when I customize my own stuff. I'm like, this is the way I want to do it, and then I change my mind. These were drain holes on here, so when I filled it with foam, they kind of was squirting out. Yeah. Hey, Meredith? Meredith? I don't know. I'm bad with internet names, sorry. Yeah, it's the same head you used, Joe. I'll show you in a second. Just want to get this last spot filled in. I really want to secure this chair because not want it to crack or anyone down the line. Okay, so let that cure up. Yeah, I got a lot of sanding to do. A little bit of errors here, some little globs of crap around it, but the guy John who printed this out put that skull on the top of the chair. He merged it for printing, so it worked out awesome. So we have at least we have a Bowser skull on here somewhere. I know the original chair we were talking about putting it on the arms, but like I said, we kind of was running out of room in the printer. So I think it works out good up there. Alright, where is, here she is. Yeah. Yeah, so, that's Crystal. Same head as, Misty. So our head's gonna go like there. So the other day I had extra I had extra time, so I redid her line here, and I did this part on her, like there. And I kind of reworked her shoulders. So this is just for me, but I went for a walk, and then I was like, you know what? The line that I put here, I didn't like the way it was looking, so I ripped them off. And then I was like, let me do this part first, and then I reworked her shoulders. And it feels more like a, sort of more like a bike racing outfit almost now. So I'm kind of liking the way it's coming out. A little bit more on the shoulders, got to work out the back. I got to do this section here, and then I got to kind of work under the arms a bit, do her things on her sides, her gloves, and then figure out the boots. But this head was going to work pretty good on her. It's going to be a little bit of a bitch though, because of the way the neck doesn't have a lot of meat there. So I'll figure it out. Yeah, that's my crystal. A little bit here and there at the end of the night, just to kind of do my own thing once in a while. But, alright, so... Alright, I primed Cammy a bit. I'm going to fill in some Aves here. I tried to clean it up as best as I could the other day, but it was like... It's like 110 in the garage. So I did not get anything done I really wanted to. It was just way too hot. Even when I was spraying with primer, the primer started to dry before it hit her, so I had to kind of stop. But slowly getting there. She's going to be a little bit more work. She's a little bit tedious character in a way. I tried to clean up underneath a bit too. Under here, but it just got way too hot in the garage, so I was like, I can't. I couldn't stomach it. It was a very, very like stuffy, hot day. But at least I was able to prime her up finally and sort of see what I need to clean up. Yeah, cause I hit the leg a lot here with like sanding, so it's gonna require a lot more work on here. I want to get underneath the skirt a little bit more too, and kind of thin this stuff out a bit, because some of it's thick and some of it's thin. So yeah, she's a tricky one to do with the skirt, but. Not really much more except sanding. Sanding, and I guess I could use some putty. That is way messier than what putty can do. This part might need to be re-aged. I'm gonna have to. Any of you guys got plans for Memorial Day? I keep forgetting it's Memorial Day weekend. I went out for lunch and I was like, why the hell is there so many cars down here? And then when I went and got a slice of pizza, the lady was like, have a good Memorial Day. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Everybody comes down here this weekend, starts getting their boats in the water and vacationing, and it's just chaos. Is it? Is it gonna? I wonder if it's gonna rain here. My friends are coming down Sunday, hang out for a bit, but yeah, looks like it's supposed to rain all weekend. You're right. Well, you're gonna get overtime, right, Joe? I take the overtime. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain this weekend. Alright, well, that's, I guess that's kind of good. It won't be as many people down here. Usually everyone tries to get their boats in the water this weekend. But if it's raining, I guess a lot of people will probably, I'm sure some people will do it anyway in the rain. Paid holiday, no overtime, that's good. Well, Joe does it for the statue, so you got to give him a pass, Devastator. It's not for the family, it's for the statues. That's more important. You got to give him a pass, dude. It's just, I understand the man is going to take your money, but at least you could get some resin. Sadly, when I was working full time, there was no overtime at the company I was with. And I think the last company I ever worked with that I got overtime was, I think, when I worked at ShopRite in high school. But I wasn't allowed to have 40 hours a week anyway, so... Oh, I got you, Devastator. I understand. Yeah, Joe, for Joe, for a pension, that's worth it, because there's not many companies anymore that people get pensions, from what I understand. And I know a couple of people who are working at companies, they got rid of them because they were going to get a pension and they didn't want to put any more money into it. So, the man is messing with us one way or the other. Oh, okay, so they are going to do it? Alright. That works. I will keep it in the back of my mind. You just gotta let me know when it ships. Well, it's going to be by boat, right? So that's going to probably won't get here till July. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's better to save on the cost because the shipping would be insane. But yeah, that's fine. It gives me time to keep it in the back of my mind, get these projects done. Hopefully we get the glasses too and get that going. A little at a time. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I got nothing on order. There's nothing on order for me, and there's nothing that I'm waiting for. I just got a couple of kits I want to print out, and that's it. I just want to finish making my personal stuff. Although I want that ES Monster Blood Rain. I love that new kit they did. But I think it's this month's or next month's perk. So it probably won't be for a month or two till they have it up for sale. And then I gotta get that printed. And my friend sent me in chat today, somebody's making a Superboy Prime. It looks okay, but not something I think I want to... It's a pre-paint, so I don't think I'm going for it. Yeah, once we get the glasses for Gwen, I'll be able to kind of get that hair going. Can't really go any further until we have the glasses to fit with the hair. That's going to be a pain in the ass, though. It's gonna be a real pain in the ass. But, I mean, I'll make it work one way or the other. I'm hoping I could use one pair of glasses to sort of kind of get it to where it needs to go. And then use another pair to paint and glue in at the end. That's kind of what I'm hoping. So. Yeah, Devastator, there's not really much coming out that's like, oh my god, I gotta get that, or, you know, I'll order it, I don't care when it comes like 2 years later. There's really nothing that I can see that's mind-blowing. Everything for me is pretty much STL files for customs or personal. Somebody made another Power Girl, Joe, you sent it to me in chat, and I didn't like the figure at all. The face was phenomenal, but the figure was not really what I liked. I don't know if you guys saw it. Like, everybody was texting to me, and I was like, not my thing. Let me find the link for it. I'm sure we are collectors. Yeah, here it is. So, the face is good, but the figure is not correct. Yeah, Terrell, I think you sent it to me as well. I think Joe sent it first, then you sent it, and then 3 of my other friends sent it. So I started getting, like, people down the line sending it to me. Yeah, but even looking on We Are Collectors, there's not really much lately that I've, like, was saying to myself, oh wow, that looks good, you know? Yeah, it's not like, it's not really like Power Girl pose, you know? The face looks great, but the pose is very, soft. It's not like a, Power Girl should be a little bit more athletic, a little bit toned. She doesn't need to be, like, muscled out, but, like, toned at least. So, it's not something I'm really into. It's like, if anyone wants to produce a Power Girl, just contact me and I'll help you make a good one, you know? Just give me the pictures, I'll Photoshop some tweaks, and boom, you'll know what to do. And then, as far as other kits, so the only ones I want to print out is the Blood Rain for myself. I want to print out that, Silver Banshee one. But I only like the body, because I want a flying pose to make Gallica, which is the Power Girl from the animated cartoon. But other than that, there's really... I can't think of anything else I wanted to print for myself. Oh, the Chavez kit, but I want to make a Kid Flash out of that. It's an older one. I think you guys have seen it. That one. Because I want to make another Kid Flash from Kingdom Come. Oh yeah, that's right. That's the only thing I have on order is the Blitzway Superman. that I want to make Kingdom Come Superman. That's right. That's the only one I got on order, but that was a trade for some work, so I guess I'm waiting for Blitzway to send those out. You know what I forgot to do this week? Because I remember Raccoon told me to go check like Michael's for like parts for the desk for Cammy. And I passed by Michael's this week and I completely forgot to stop in there. Completely forgot about it. You know what? And I didn't get her hair fixed, so we might as well get this done today. Let's kind of clean this a bit first. You're going for the Blitzway, Wonder Woman? I just want that Superman, and then, so I need Kingdom Come Superman. I need to get that. I gotta make Kingdom Come Power Woman to stand next to him. I need that Chavez to put the Kid Flash, those three together for my own collection. I need to finish my Flash kit, my Nate Gray kit, and then I need to make a Gallica. And I gotta finish my Bayonettas. I want the Blood Rain. And I think the only other Holy Grail I want is a Superboy Prime. I'll have to check Dollar Tree then too. I'll never even thought to. I'll check it, see if they have anything. Yeah, it's a Trinity set, but I only want the Superman. I don't want Batman or Wonder Woman. I just want to make Kingdom Come Superman. That's the grails. Those are my grails. That's all the stuff I really want. I have an oddball sort of ideas of collection for myself. I don't build teams or anything. Yeah, see, you want the Wonder Woman, I want the Superman. It's we got our own little niche collections going on. You know, Scott, like Abe and Abe 3D and ES Monster seem to be making the only stuff that I kind of feel is good for customizing my collections. A lot of the other guys make some okay stuff, but doesn't really fit what I'm looking for. Kind of wish I could send you. I wish I could send those pics to you. You know what? Let me see if I can show you the Superboy Prime my friend was showing me. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Alright, here we go. This is what he sent me earlier. Okay. Best just to show it on the screen. So, this is the Superboy Prime that he showed me. I guess it's from Immortal Legacy Designs. I like it, but I was looking at his abs and his legs. He's too cut to be Superboy Prime. So I'm not really feeling it. I mean, it looks decent, but it's overcut. Superboy Prime is not really jacked. He's a little bit more like, kind of more of toned, but thinner. He's kind of more of a kid, you know. He's kind of more of not like, he's not a teenager, but he's not like in his 30s. I would say he's kind of more in his 20s. But I think this one is going to be over jacked, and my friend said this would also be a pre-paint, so I'm not going to go for it. But yeah, like Invincible and stuff, probably more of that route, or like Flash, a little bit toned. I mean, the pose is good, and the face on him looks pretty good, but I just think he's just too much, you know? So I'm hoping one day somebody makes a good Superboy Prime, either pre-paint or STL, and then I'll get in on it. That's like one of my holy grails is Superboy Prime in this outfit, because I love the character from what was it, Infinite Crisis. So yeah, someday somebody will make the one I want. You are, Joe? If you're in their group, tell them they overdid it on his anatomy. He's a little too jacked. But I'm actually happy though that somebody's making a Superboy Prime, so maybe it'll give people the incentive to maybe make some sculpts, you know, in STLs. I mean, it's really not that hard to make him, as you can see. All you really got to do is just make the shoulders, the arm guards, and the stuff down there, and then make them look younger, and you're done. So, but that's just a personal holy grail I'm hoping for. I was going to make one myself, you know, down the line, but this kind of gave me a ray of hope that somebody's going to finally, or a couple people are going to make some. You know, because everybody's making Rogue, Storm, you know, you're seeing so many of the same characters. I would like to see some DC characters like him. Yeah, I saw was it Ultraman or their Superman? It was a little too, I don't know. I think they over-texturized the body and he was a little too cut. But or maybe by the time I'm ready to make a Superboy Prime, you could just scan the file from the comic and boom, it pumps out a sculpt. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe, like I said, maybe people will start making it more often. Sideshow hasn't really released anything new much, have they? Because in their emails, all I get is Hot Toy emails, and I turned all that crap off, but they still send that shit to me. So, even Sideshow's not really making a lot lately. Oh, are you talking about the one that Will Jack? No, not Will Jack. The one Warren Lau does all the time. I forget her name. He does like all his Power Girls are based off her. No, I know who you're talking about, but you're talking about this picture though. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Damn it. That's not. I know her name. I don't know if it was her name was like Jessica something. No, hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture of it that doesn't have a link that's friggin' 5 million paragraphs long. So it's this picture here. Can you guys see that picture? So that's Warren Lau, but he bases his Power Girl off of, I forget her name. I'll have to go to his Instagram, hold on. Where is, hold on, I'll find it. I think he posted it on his Instagram. Yeah, Warren Lau's a really, really great artist. Here you go. I think, nope, not that one. Oh, man, I didn't realize it was that far back. It's been a while. Nick Pixie? Oh, here we go. So, it is based off of... Yeah, who is it? Stacy Cosplay. Stacy Cosplay. That's who he bases his Power Girl off of. Nick the Pixie, he bases his Harley off of. Yeah, so it's Stacy Cosplays who he does his Power Girl. Is that the one you were thinking of, though? See, I love Warren's, I love his artwork. I love his faces. But sometimes his anatomy gets wonky. Like his one Power Girl cover, the anatomy was a little but his face was good. Which one was it? I'll get it. This one. So the face looks good on this one, but the anatomy was kind of... It seems a little off. But if you look through his Instagram, all the faces are beautiful. I would love to meet him, but he's like over in South Africa, I think. Oh, I haven't seen that one, Raz. I just got your email. Yeah, no, I never saw her on Instagram. Okay. Yeah, I never seen her in the Power Girl outfit. Here, I'll link it in chat so you guys can see what Raz sent me. So you guys know. You know, it's kind of funny. I'm looking at that stuff with Nick the Pixie, and she's on that YouTube like comedy skit channel. And I realized I knew her from somewhere before. Really, Davis? Really? I didn't see any of those. Well, if you see any, send them to me. What kind of challenge is it? Is it on Instagram? Come I see this stuff? Come I don't get to see this stuff? You guys are holding out on me. What's the deal? Oh, I didn't see, well, I'm not seeing it on Instagram. So what do they call it? Power Girl Redraw Challenge? I don't know. Let's see if anything comes up. Yeah, send me some. Yeah, more than welcome to flood my emails with that. I don't care. You know what it is I'm not on Twitter much, and I'm not on TikTok. I'm only really on Instagram. So... But if you have the Twitter link, send it to me too. Kind of curious of what pose you're saying though. I wonder if they're doing it because Jerry Conway passed away? Or is it just a random challenge? fourth pick. Okay, so it's that one leaning forward. So you're saying it's this one? See, the only artwork I ever see of her is on DeviantArt. But it's more of the AI stuff. See, this is sort of the type of stuff I've been finding on DeviantArt. I don't know if you guys are on DeviantArt, but I'll link it to you so you guys can see the type of stuff I see. So this is sort of the type of stuff I find on DeviantArt. So I know a lot of people don't like, you know, but it's good references, you know, stuff like that. Well, that's why I'm on DeviantArt a lot. I use it for a lot of reference pictures because it's easier to sift through. Because like on Instagram, you can't really like sift through art because if you type in a character, you get tons of other crap that people use as spam. So DeviantArt is great for references and like ideas and different like, you know, versions. So like that Power Girl art I sent you, it's really good looking at how the AI sort of stretched the outfit. So it's good reference, like you said. And then I save a lot of it too for my digital frame. Alright, I got your link, Raz. Let's see. Holy crap, that's a lot of links. Ah, so it's kind of like bending forward. Oh, so they based it off of her bending forward? That's what it is? Oh, these are pretty cool. Oh, that was restricted. I gotta log in for those. Alright, I gotta log in for some of these, so I'll have to check later. Yeah, that's true, Scott. That's why I do it too on Deviant. Alright, yeah, I'm going to look through later, Raz. Thanks for the email. The problem is when I click on it, it doesn't click on my main search browser. So I have to manually look at them later. But thank you. I'm going to really look into it a little bit more. Yeah, I could see somebody making a sculpt like that now. Probably bang one out pretty fast. It's kind of funny, I've always seen these art challenges, but they never did it as her. They always did it as like other characters. Most of the art challenges I saw was always a Velma. Well, I'm sick of the flexing of the one arm pose. That's the pose I'm sick of. But everyone seems to want to do that. How many does that make, Scott? I still need to customize my Velma over there too, for myself. Someday we'll get to all this crap. Alright, hold on, I gotta go in the garage and clean this up real quick. That's funny, Scott. You got more stuff. That's yeah. The first sideshow of Mark Newman Power Girl is still one of my favorites, but I like the second Power Girl too. The first Power Girl's got that traditional look, and you could tell it's a Mark Newman. But the second Power Girl's got more of that digital, a little bit more athletic look to her. So. Oh yeah, Scott, that movie. Yeah, I don't think I'll really get too much into it, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's It's going to be a very interesting, see what happens. I like, I'll say one thing though, I love all the Elliot Page parody videos out there now. Have you seen them? They are hilarious. Oh my god, I've been crying on those. They're the funniest things in the world. I know people will get mad saying, oh my god, don't make fun of them, but it's hilarious to me. Oh yeah, I mean, stuff back in the day was, phew. I remember when the statues were like 150 bucks. I remember when Bowens were $70 for a full size, and that was unheard of. Hey Jacob, how's it going? Going pretty good. Another day, another dollar. I gotta drill this in a little bit more. Be right back. The Bowen Witchblade? I don't remember that one too well. But yeah, I mean, they used to be... I think when the first full-size Bowen came out, I think it was like around $70 or $65, something like that, you know? And then... Well, I remember when they hit 120, I was like, oh, forget it, I'm not buying these anymore. But then Sideshow came out, and it made it look like Bowen was cheap. So... It's kind of what happened around that era. You know, it's kind of, I kind of wonder what would happen if Bowen tried to come back now. You know, like with all the STL files out there, it's like, I don't even think he could. I don't know, what do you guys think? No? Maybe? I keep feeling that STL files are even killing Sideshow sales. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely price wise too. It's well, I mean, Bowen sort of started out as a bootlegger, if you think about it. I think he was the one who was going to the Wonderfest selling like superhero stuff, and then he got a license and went legit. Right? I think that's the history of it. If I'm not mistaken. A custom bootlegger, that's kind of funny. It's a good term. It's a good term. I like it. Well, that was a big problem for the Bowen stuff, because I remember when I did the when I painted the whatchamacallit. Who did I paint? It was the Cloak and Dagger. I guess I painted it the way I was sort of told, and then when he got it, he had to redo the arms to pure blackness because he wasn't supposed to have skin or something, and then I think also when I did the Mangog, he had to change something on it because the suit said so. So yeah, that's kind of it's kind of the things that sucks about working for a license holder, you know. Are you talking about when I did the prototypes or just working on Bone in general? I've worked on a lot of Bones for customs. I've done my Captain Marvels, I've done the Rogue, I repaired a Bishop, I've customized a few, if I remember correctly. You know, I made a Flash out of a Bowen I painted for Bowen prototypes. I did the prototype paint-ups for Captain Marvel, the Miss Marvel Retro and Modern, the Mangog bust, the Cloak and Dagger bust, the Man-Ape bust, I think it was, and I think that was it. Yeah, if you go to those boxes, my name's on the bottom. It was fun at first, then I didn't like it, plus it was also the time when I was leaving my apartment and I was moving down South Jersey with the company I was working with. So I couldn't take on more work he wanted to send me, so I had to stop. Yeah, that was back in 2010. 2010, yeah. It was bad timing. It's actually kind of a funny story. I contacted him and I said, if you're doing the Captain Marvel Genis Vale full size, I would love to paint up the prototype if you're looking for painters. And he said, sure. He saw my paint ups I was doing and he sent it to me. And I got it in the mail with nothing. He just sent it to me. So I was like, alright. So I just started painting it. Then next thing I knew, his wife emailed me and saying that you're supposed to sign an NDA. You can't show this to anybody. There's rules. And so it's kind of funny. He just sent it to me without signing any NDA or anything like that. So that was a little bit of a faux pas on his part. Because in theory, I could have taken the sculpt and showed it to the world, you know. Of course, I wouldn't have done that, but he didn't know at the time. So I had to sign an NDA and all that stuff, and I wasn't allowed to talk about it until it was produced and for sale. And then he started sending me more items, so then he sent me the Miss Marvel full-size ones. And then he sent me the Mangog, the Man-Ape, the Cloak and Dagger. I thought there was another one. Maybe I'm mistaken. Yeah, I don't know that whole story with the wife, but there was a lot of problems, and I guess he also got divorced, and I think he also had like back surgery like 3 times, so I think everything just kind of just stopped. But I think he retired pretty well even after he got divorced, because he was making really good money back then. You think about it. Selling a full-size statue at $120, just like kind of the average at the time, and you're selling like 3,500 of them, and you're making one full-size statue and one bust or like 2 busts a month. At the time, that was some damn good money. And you figured there wasn't really any tariffs back then, and shipping was a lot cheaper, and you know. Oh, the She Dragons. That was under CS Moore. Claiborne Moore She Dragons. I think that was probably the most customized statue out there. There's probably not many regular ones left, because there was a couple guys on eBay that were customizing. But I think I probably did about a good 20 of those She Dragons. Oh no, that was CS Moore. CS Moore was also customized a lot. You know, his Fathom, but the She Dragon was the most popular item. I think with She Dragon, I think I did Wonder Woman, Miss Marvel, Psylocke. Dude, there's so many of those. I don't know the story, but there was a savage dragon and there was a sea dragon. So I think there was a sea dragon in the savage dragon universe. But I never read those comics, so I don't know specifics, sadly. But yeah, that she-dragon was... Everybody was getting that thing to customize. It was like, because it was so easy to customize it and everyone loved the pose at the time. That's, you're kind of making me remember that a lot now, Raccoon. Wow. That was a... It's a popular item. And then, I guess Claiborne Moore saw that everybody was buying it up, so he did, like, what, 2 more versions? He did the first She-Dragon, and then he did the Mohawk version, right? And then he did the faux bronze version. So I think there was 3 versions of the She-Dragon. There was a Mohawk, a regular hair, and then a faux bronze. And there might have been a 4th one, too. But they were so old, I don't even have videos on them, I don't think. Because when I was doing them, I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't start the YouTube to 2011, so... I got a couple on my YouTube channel. I did during my live streams, I guess. So I did the Black Widow, the Psylocke. But yeah, a lot of the earlier ones I didn't do. Yeah, I didn't do any videos on them. That was back around 2006, 2007, 8. Yeah. Oh yeah, all that stuff was... I started customizing Bowens in 2003? 4? Whenever the Captain Marvel bus came out. And then 2006, when I got the apartment with my brother, that's when I was really starting to take on commissions for people with Bowen. And then 2009 is when 2009 to 10 is when I asked Bowen to do the prototypes, but that's when I left the apartment and I didn't. He was like, you gotta get these done. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a move, I didn't expect you to send them to me, type stuff. So, and then after that, when I got my house in 2012, then I lost my job, and in 2014 is when I really started this as a full-time thing. So that's kind of the breakdown, the history. The guy on eBay was doing the She-Dragons too, and then I think another guy was doing the She-Dragons as well, but then he started doing everybody topless. So he was known for every sideshow or character he would have them topless, but you couldn't do that with the She-Dragon because she covered herself up with her hands. I even I think I got a cease and desist letter from DC, or was it Marvel? Somebody sent me a cease and desist letter because they thought I was recasting stuff. But I think I sent back that, I think it was an email, and I was like, I make one of a kinds. I don't make copies. And then I never heard from him again, so I don't remember. I had all the bones that I worked on, like all the, because the way it worked was I didn't get paid for my work. I got 2 copies of each statue because I wasn't a well-known painter, and at the time Bowen didn't really want to pay people. I guess he wanted to get as many people to work for almost free, you know. So I just got 2 copies each of the statues, and I had them in my closet for years. And I was like, I don't even really want these statues. I was like, I did it, I had fun, I sold them off, I got rid of them. Yeah, Devastator. Like I said, I don't know if it was actually DC or Marvel, but I did get a cease and desist letter. But I just said I make one of a kinds. I don't make copies, and I guess they didn't know what I was doing, so that kind of stopped. Because at the time people were like recasting Bowens. Yeah, that's probably what you guys might not know of. I think it was around 2006 and 7. I think over in China they had to destroy like 2 factories because they were all recasting Bowens. I think it was something like that. Yeah, I never even would have thought to save that email. Like I said, I don't know if it was an email or a letter. I can't remember. But I remember getting something. So like I said, I think it was around the time that there was a lot of recasting going on. For those who don't know, there was a company called Xenomorph. And they were a big recaster of Bowen and Sideshow, mostly Sideshow. And they now are called XM Studios. And the reason why people found that out is because the storefront over there in the country was Xenomorph, and then all of a sudden XM popped up. So that's another little bit of the history of the whole collecting and drama back in the day. What happened? Shit. Glue went away. Yeah, that was a whole big thing back then. Xenomorph was recasting a couple of the Bowen busts and statues and XM and I mean Sideshow, and then all of a sudden they disappeared one day, and then boom. What the hell happened to me? I should just let this kind of cure up. Shit. I don't know what's going on with XM. I really don't. I don't know if they're having trouble or something. I know, was it XM that no, it was Prime 1 that got their factory got locked down, right? I don't know. I forget what company it was. One of them got locked down. can't keep up. So it's either XM got in trouble or it was Prime 1, but I know one factory, they weren't paying their bills and somebody went in and locked their factory down. Was it XM or Prime 1? It had to be one of those two. I don't know, do you guys think it's the tariffs that screw them up, the economy, or just the lack of interest in the statues? Or maybe all of them in one group? To me, I don't think collectors would stop if the pricing and stuff wasn't bad. I mean, I think collectors are there, but I just don't think they make the stuff exciting as much as it used to be. No, I think, I don't know, I think I'd have to look into it. I'll have to ask some of my friends, because they probably would remember what company got locked down. But one company did get locked down, because they weren't paying bills. It might be on statue form, too. I'm sure the article's there. Alright, so it probably was XM, alright. Yeah, from what I remember, what happened was the company went in to get statues to ship, and I guess the people, whoever they borrowed money from, went in and locked up the factory, and they were like, you owe us money. And I guess a lot of people were waiting for all their statues, and I guess it wasn't coming in, so I don't know what happened then. Yeah, locked him inside. Yeah, I can't remember a good XM statue in a while. For me, a lot of the times the anatomy was always off. That's why I never really bought an XM, because every time I saw a character that was somewhat interesting, sometimes the anatomy was like positioned wrong. For good examples, if you go and look up XM, their Medusa that's sitting down, it looks like her abs weren't in position correctly, and something just always looked off for some reason. Yes, the Dark Phoenix standing with the flames, I probably was the only XM I really, really liked. If I was a huge Gene fan, I would have went crazy to get that one. But I really wasn't gonna go crazy to get that. So alright, so you remember the first XM Phoenix, the green outfit one? You remember that one, when that one came out? I still laugh to this day, and I was talking to a friend of mine that got one, because I have one here I'm gonna customize. When that statue came out, it was the Holy Grail, the holiest of Holy Grails. If you had the XM Jean Grey, your collection was amazing. And I remember the one guy I know, he got offered $6,500 for his Jean. And I said, dude, sell that thing. I said, sell it right away, because they're always going to come out with another Jean, and there's always going to be a better one around the corner. I said, if you could get that much money for that right now, take it. No, I love it. It's a grail, and you know, it's the item in everyone's collection. I'm like, dude, give it another year or two, there'll be a better one coming out. And he didn't do it, and now I think that Jean sells for like what, $400? I would have jumped on that right away. Someone says, I'll give you $6,000. I'm like, alright, give me the money. Let's go. Because there's no way that was going to last forever. I remember one guy, he traded a broken down car for that Jean Grey. The car was like, probably value was like worth like $5,000, and he was offering it up to people. It was funny. Really, Jacob? Did you get it when it first came out? Because people were going crazy trying to get her when she came out. I had people asking me, like, do you know anyone that's selling one? I was like, no, because they thought I was like, you know, in contact with the world. It's got to be the first one, not the... Let me see. Yes. This Jean Grey. I'll link it in chat. Yep. That Jean Grey, when it came out from XM Studios, was like the Holy Grail. Ah, okay, Jacob. Yeah, I understand. Like at the time, it was tough because you know we didn't have such a thing as 3D sculpting and printing and stuff, and it was a different era. And you know, to have that statue was like unheard of. But like I said, the people who were offering crazy amounts of money, I would have friggin' jumped on it in a heartbeat. But it was also the era too of, look at me in my collection. I have the biggest dick of everybody because I have this statue. So that was also part of the collecting back then too. So it was kind of a funny collecting era. Because people are like, hey, look at me, I got this statue, you don't, blah blah blah. Then there was guys who would buy it they would be like, look, I got this statue first. And then they would be like, okay, I'll sell it off now. You can buy it from me. So weird collecting theories, people back then. Yeah, that's kind of how it was, Devastator. I'm not lying to you. There was guys that were like, you know, a new statue would come out and they would be like, look at me, I got it first. I got it before you. Blah blah blah. My collection's amazing. And then whenever people started getting it, they would just sell it off and move on. It was a weird time. It was a very strange time. There was a lot of guys who weren't even like fans of the comics. But they were just doing it because it was like the thing to do. Good times in collecting, what can I say? I think if you could find the Dark Phoenix from XM, the one where she's standing with all the flames around her, I think that's kind of like the one I would have in my collection if I could. Except I would repaint her though. Give her a little bit of a different look to it. Yeah, the Magneto on the throne was, that was the other one that you had the big dick collection, if you had that one too. The Doom from Sideshow was considered like the OG Doom to get. And the funny thing is, the comic book store down by me, it's called Conquest Comics. They had that Doom on shelf in there for ages, and they could have gotten like at the time $3,500 for it, but they never would sell it because they thought it was worth more. And it was sitting in the sun and it had cobwebs all over it and spider eggs, so it's like they kind of missed their window. So now if somebody went in there to buy it, they probably were like, yo, I'm not giving you more than like $500 for it, you know. It's like if you got somebody coming in to buy it, you want to kind of move it, but they wouldn't sell it. So very strange store, especially to let spider eggs on it all day long. It's like you walk in there, it's like, I don't think I'm buying that statue. I remember I had a bunch of people over one time back when that Magneto from XM was the shit, and I know these guys brought the Magneto just show everybody at my house. And when they opened it up and I looked at it on the shelf and everything, or I think they were selling it to somebody, I forget. I remember looking at it and I'm like, it's okay, but it's not like, I couldn't see the hype for it, I guess. But everybody loved it. What statue broke Sideshow? What do you mean broke? What do you mean? Oh, definitely Devastator. Definitely. I don't know if it was Wonder Woman. I think the Wonder Woman... Let me wash my hands real quick. I think I can explain the Wonder Woman a little better. I think Wonder Woman was the first statue, if I can remember correctly, where they showed off the prototype and the head sculpt, and a lot of fans liked it, but there was a loud minority of people that were bitching about the head sculpt, saying it looked like too much of a man. And I think that was the first statue that Sideshow secretly resculpted the face. And when it came in production, it looked horrible. They claimed they never touched the face, but it looked nothing like the sculpt of the prototype. Because the prototype had a wider jaw, a little bit more stronger jaw, and the nose was different. But when you got the statue, it looked nothing. It looked like they shaved down the jawline. So I think Wonder Woman was the first one where Sideshow listened to the crybabies and they screwed themselves over. Because if you could find the original prototype sculpt pictures of the Wonder Woman from Sideshow, it was actually pretty good. But as far as a statue that broke the camel's back, I can't really... The only one I could really think that people really got pissed off with Sideshow, and this was actually before Wonder Woman, was Rogue. Because they filled up the booty on Rogue, and they never told anybody, and the head paints were the sloppiest head paints of Sideshow ever. So I think Rogue was probably the first one that really woke up a lot of people, and they bitched a lot. So Sideshow had to, I think, come out and say that they went to a factory and the factory screwed everything up and blah blah blah. But you know, Marvel made them fill up the booty, and that was a whole big thing. But the Wonder Woman came out way after that, though. So I think Rogue was the first one for everybody to really bitch about the factory on how sloppy it was and how they filled up the booty. Wonder Woman was the first one where they resculpted the face and didn't tell anybody. And I think they also screwed up with Psylocke, the second Psylocke, where they had that head, and everybody, I know a lot of people liked it, but you had people bitching about it, and then they re-sculpted the head, and it was absolutely trash. So that was another problem. So I think it wasn't just one camel that broke the camel's back. I think it was a consecutive, like, stupid shit. Like, instead of just saying, this is our sculpt, we're doing it this way, they would listen to the crybabies, and I think that's what screwed them over there for a while. And I think after the Psylocke head debacle, I think that's when Sideshow stopped, like, listening to people. And I think they started to get better. Because when you start listening to the crybabies that are like maybe, I don't know, 50 or 60 people on one forum, you screwed over for like the 1,000 statues you're going to sell. I don't remember the Lino. I have no clue. Really, Devastator? Mighty Mouse format statue? I have no clue what that is. Let me see. Let's see here. Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse statue. Sideshow. (2018) Mighty Mouse? Are you talking about Mighty Mouse, the mouse with the yellow outfit? I've never seen that statue before. Wait, no, that's a maquette, right? That's, no. I'm not seeing a Sideshow Mighty Mouse. Yeah, I don't remember the Lino either. Alright, let's see. Let's see. Oh, I don't remember. But that's Electric Tiki, though. Oh, so was Sideshow trying to sell it for Electric Tiki? Yeah, that's a little bit strange. Well, Electric Tiki had a lot of problems selling their items, because I remember when Electric Tiki came out with the Mandy and a couple of their other characters. It got to the point where if you went on eBay, they were selling for like $200 less. Because I remember I got that one Mandy sitting on the pillow and I converted it into Harley Quinn. They were selling them for dirt cheap on eBay. I think what it was is they were picking characters that not many people went for, and also they didn't advertise enough, I think. Yeah, I forgot about Electric Tiki there for a while. They were doing a lot of that stuff that I think collectors really just didn't know who the characters were. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so as far as Sideshow goes, so my recollection is Rogue with the booty and horrible face paints. The first Psylocke, all the paint was cracking because the factory did not prime up the item at all. So they just painted over bare resin, so the bases and figure was cracking. The Wonder Woman head was re-sculpted and didn't tell anybody. The Sideshow Superman and Batman, all of them were leaning because of the heavy capes and just the ankle support. I'm trying to think of the really big F-ups from the factories on Sideshow. I can't remember any others that were bad, because it was Rogue, Psylocke, the second Psylocke head, first Psylocke cracking, Wonder Woman head change, Superman, Batman leaning, the second Rogue from Sideshow was fine. Yeah, other than that, I think those are the biggest F-ups that came out of Sideshow. I can't think of anything else that was super bad. I can't think of anything that had a lot of damages either. No, the Ivy, the first Ivy re-releasing with the skin tone actually did good for them, I think, because a lot of people love the green skin. Yeah, maybe. Because I know a lot of people wanted the green skin, so Sideshow did it. I know what raged a lot of people is when they did the Spooktacular and they did the second Psylocke in the X-Force outfit with the original head sculpt that everyone liked. That pissed off a lot of people because they only did, what, like 200 of them or something? And everybody I know was furious because they wanted that head sculpt, and it was like they didn't even know they were going to do a Spooktacular on it. I know that pissed off a lot of guys that I know because they wanted that head sculpt in the worst way. Yeah, I can't remember. Well, what happened with the first Rogue is when they came out with the second Rogue and they had the EX head, everybody wanted the EX head because it fit on the old Rogue body, because I even did a few of them for people, and it made the old Rogue look amazing, you know, with the EX head. So I don't know about Sinestro. That's possible. If there was a problem with it, I didn't get wind of it because it probably came out when I wasn't paying attention to much of the stuff coming out. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was any other well, I know they did the Elektra, but then they did the black Elektra for a Spooktacular, but I don't think anyone really cared. Because I didn't really hear much about that, because it was the same head sculpt, right? The first Catwoman, there was no problems with that one. The only problem is the cloth was just made her look like she had diapers on. I don't think there was anything wrong with the base. No, I don't think there was anything wrong with the Catwoman except that the prototype was looked good, but the factory made her look like she had diapers on because it didn't go up her crotch and booty all the way. So I think the factory sort of cut the fabric wrong. Oh, I know another mess up that a lot of people got pissed off was the first Huntress. The purple cape was leaking onto the statue. That was the cloth issue. I was trying to think of the one item that had a cloth issue. It was the Huntress purple cape. Whatever they used to dye the cape, it was getting all over the statue. That's the cloth item I was thinking of. It's possible, Jacob. I don't remember. I don't know, man. It's been a while. Well, a lot of the earlier Sideshow superhero stuff was done in really bad factories, so there was always a bunch of issues with those, sadly. But I'm trying to think of other cloth issues. I know the leaking of Huntress, and I think there was another cloth issue that was a problem. I know the Captain America cloth faded, the whites yellowed over time, but I can't think of another cloth issue. So I think that, alright, let's put it in this perspective. I think this is the only way I can sort of explain what you're trying to say, Jacob. You had Bowen at top, right? And then Sideshow came up. And then you started having the wars of Sideshow versus Bowen. But a lot of people started going with Sideshow more, and then Bowen started to fall off. Then, sort of when Bowen kind of fell off and disappeared, you had XM come up. So you sort of had that same history repeat itself. So when XM came up, it was like, oh, XM's better, Sideshow's better, XM's better, blah, blah, blah. But it lasted a lot longer because they both kept going. But I think what happened is then Prime 1 came into effect. And I think XM started to sort of go away a bit because they started making bases so big that everybody was like, I'm buying a base, I'm not buying a figure. You know what I'm saying? So I think people started to go back to Sideshow and sort of go to Prime 1. But then I think Sideshow started to fall off, I would say after the Trinity of DC, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, they started to do Batman again. You know what I'm saying? And it was like they started rehashing the same DC stuff over. And I think they started doing it with Marvel. Another Wolverine, another Magneto. And I think that's kind of when they started going down. So I think XM kind of took number one, but then Sideshow went back to number one, then XM, then Sideshow, and then I think once a lot of people started doing fan art stuff, they all started going away. That's kind of the way I can explain it. I don't think Sideshow would ever like faded away until 3D printing and 3D sculpting really went apeshit. But I think even watching the Prime 1, it was like every Prime 1 event was another Batman, another Batman, another Batman, another Batman. And I think Sideshow started doing it, another Batman, and another Batman, and then the movie Batman, and then a Hot Toys Batman. And it just, I think that's when people were like, enough is enough, I'm tired of all this shit. I know I got tired of watching the Sideshow streams and the XM stuff and the Prime 1 because I'm like, alright, they're just going to show another Batman sculpt. So I think that's that's what killed the companies, honestly. You know, you're sitting there, you're like, oh, maybe they're going to do another Batman villain or they're going to do a Superman villain. And it's like, Harley Quinn number 3, Catwoman number 3, Poison Ivy #4, Batman, the 50th version of Batman, you know? I mean, only now they're doing all the Batman villains, right? Because I think they just did another Batman villain, Lizard or something. You know, you had Spider-Man villains. You could have done the Sinister Six. You could have done like Tombstone, but they just kind of stuck to the safe stuff. That's kind of what I think that's what fell into the trap. Sideshow, XM, and Prime 1 fell into the trap where they didn't want to risk like Bowen, where Bowen was doing every friggin' character under the sun, where these companies are like, well, we don't want to do 100 or 300 of, say, Lizard from Batman, because they're afraid they're only going to sell 5 of them, you know what I'm saying? So they fell into the trap of just doing the same characters over and over. So I think that's what killed them. I would say that's my opinion. Because the factories, they sort of corrected the issues with the factories. Whenever a factory screwed up, they would fix it. So... yeah, I think that's it. I think the same characters over and over killed it. And I think even now with Star Wars, I think it's the same thing. Because if you watch a lot of the Sideshow stuff that came out, it's, you know, they were doing another, even with the toys, the new Star Wars characters were not selling, so they were going back to the old stuff, and then it's another Vader, it's another Luke, it's another Boba Fett, so it got old. So, I think that's the best way I can explain it. That would be my opinion on it all. Alright, better use up this ease. Yeah, send me pictures down the line, see if we could do something with it. Got a lot of work ahead of me, which is good. I'm happy I'm kind of getting back on track, and got a lot of work ahead of me. Get stuff done, pay bills, stuff like that. Alright, I think that's where I'm closing the stream. I think we're kind of done for today. But I am going to try and come up with a plank of wood for her, and I'm going to try to give it a decent circle so she could fit on there and also sort of not take up too much room. So it's kind of where we're at with her, but we're getting there finally. So we got all the elements, a couple little extra things here and there, but I can start fine-tuning everything. Alright, well, you guys have a good holiday weekend. And I'm going to go and relax for tonight. So have a good one, alright?